All right, welcome to the Krug Show on a Monday. Kyle Shanahan's press conference has just concluded. What did he say? What did he say? What does it mean? Let's go. Off and running on the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. And they're soon to be opening in Petaluma. And join us next Sunday, December the 7th, literally just days from now, as we do the Krug Show meet and greet at Pig and a Pickle in Corte Madera. Stop by. I'm going to be there all during the bye week on Sunday, December the 7th. They are open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m., and I will be there all day watching football, hanging out in Corte Madera. Stop by, have some barbecue. We got some Krug Show merch that we're going to give away, and we have a Ricky Pearsall autographed mini helmet that we're going to give away to one lucky Niner fan. All right, let's talk a little bit about today, though. Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media. He just concluded moments ago, and we grilled him. No, we didn't grill him. You don't get grilled after you win an impressive game on the road. But he always starts with the injuries, and he said Nick Martin's in the concussion protocol. So his status coming out of the bye week will be unknown. Kyle Juszczyk has got a rib fracture. And BARTCH, the big injury of note is BARTCH. He's going to go on the IR, sprained foot, season likely over. They're saying it's a possible Liz Frank injury. Just terrible break for BARTCH. And he just unfortunately is proven to be, he's a great guy and he's a good football player. He's not the most durable guy. He suffers a number of different injuries. So that was the one. Possible Liz Frank, sprained foot for sure, going to be a surgery situation, headed to IR. He was asked if BARTCH may return for the playoffs, and it didn't sound very promising. So there you go. Kyle Shanahan, it's, the injuries never end. And now what does it mean? It means BARTCH is out, and Spencer Burford is going to be the full-time starter at left guard. Now, Shanahan was asked about Burford towards the end of the press conference, and he said Spencer, he's happy in how he's played. He said he's real happy with Spence, and he played right tackle at University of Texas at San Antonio, and then had played some right guard. Now he's switching over and playing left guard. So it takes some getting used to switching from the right side to the left side. Everything's kind of that you learned before is kind of backwards. But he thinks that he's playing well. And there were some examples on the film of Burford just rooting guys out of there. He is big and physical at the point, and can be a factor in the run game. So Shanahan said he was very pleased with Spencer Burford and how he's playing. I asked Kyle, hey, was this one of Brock Purdy's better games, finest games as a Niner? And I know at first blush you'd say no, right? Because he only completed 53% of his passes. The numbers aren't that great. His yards per attempt is far beneath what he normally does. He only completed 53% yesterday and only 5.8 yards per attempt. But I thought it was one of his best games when I watched it again. Why? Well, he had 7 throwaways. 7 times he was being chased down. That could have been negative plays, could have been sacks. Instead, he found a way to get away from the rush, buy himself some time, and throw the ball away. And he just eliminated all negative plays. He took only 1 sack. He took care of the football. And then when you factor in the ball, to me, when you look at that film again, you factor in the ball placement. It's, and then the weather and the opponent. This was the second best pass defense in the NFL. And the way Brock Purdy played in this game on 3rd and long, 3rd and 5 or longer, Purdy went 6 of 8 with 5 first downs and a touchdown, and won the game on the road in cold weather against a top 5 defense, number 2 rated pass defense in the NFL. But Shanahan said no, he didn't think it was one of his finest performances as a Niner. He thought that was over the top, and he thought he's had so many good ones that that this wasn't in that category, but I thought it was. When you factor in the pass rush, Garrett, I mean, for the 49er offensive line allowed in this game, I mean, that's another thing. The 49ers allowed only 1 sack and 7 quarterback hits. Now, you could hear those numbers and be like, well, that's not perfect. Well, the week before, the Raiders allowed 10 sacks and 20 quarterback hits to the same Browns team. So 7 days after 10 sacks and 20 hits, they got 1 sack and 7 hits. So I think you got to say that the 49ers did a nice job at neutralizing their rush. Now, some of it was Purdy getting rid of the ball. Some of it was play design. Some of it was moving the pocket. Some of it was the O-line standing up. But they didn't allow Cleveland to give them a bunch of negative plays. And I thought that was big. As far as not, the 49ers not did take the ball at the start of the game. They normally, when they win the coin toss, they almost always defer to the second half. Shanahan wants to play that game of let's score last in the first half and score first in the second half and kind of take control of the game no matter what's happened in the first half. You can just take control of it because you get that first score going in to the locker room and the score coming out. So he likes that lap potential. But he did in this game take the ball first and that's with the coin toss. Usually if the Niners take the ball first, it's they've lost the coin toss and the other team is deferred to the second half and is forcing the Niners to go on offense first. But Shanahan was asked why, and he said it was the win factor in the fourth quarter of the game was the reason. And I think many people suspected that was the reason, but he kind of confirmed that in the presser today, saying that the wind factor in the fourth quarter, he didn't want to be going against the wind in the fourth quarter. You're talking about, I know for Bay Area football fans, especially if you don't travel a lot, you're thinking, well, how big of a factor? It's huge. 30, we're not used to 25-mile-an-hour winds, 35-mile-an-hour winds, 45-mile-an-hour winds in freezing conditions. In really, really December East Coast cold, you mix in 45-mile-an-hour winds and suddenly you can't throw the ball. And if it winds in your face, it's like you're playing two defenses. You're playing a defense and you're playing the wind. So he wanted the wind factor on his side in the fourth quarter. When I first saw they did it, I thought maybe there was some like snow or heavy precipitation in the forecast. And he, for the second, later in the day, and maybe he just wanted to jump out early offensively, and wasn't worried about that, the potential to lap your opponent by deferring to the second half. But no, he said the fourth quarter wind was the reason why. Shanahan was also asked about his linebackers or about his injuries, I should say, coming out of the bye week. Who can you hope to get back? Are you guys going to get some people back? Will you have Tatum Bethune back? Will you have Yetur Gross-Matos back? And he said, with Bethune, he'll be 3 weeks into a high ankle sprain, and they're thinking that he'll probably maybe need a little bit more time, but we'll see. He also said Sam Aquinu potentially could return after the bye week, and he said that Yetur Gross-Matos should be ready to go after the bye week. Now, those are not, like, if we'd said those names in July, the Niners, Tatum Bethune, Yetur Gross-Matos, Sam Aquinu, people would have been like, yeah, and so what? Your backup defensive players. But these guys are now emerged as key cogs in the wheel, especially Gross-Matos. Gross-Matos might be the 49ers' best interior rusher, and he's proven it. I mean, he has really come of age this year in a 49er uniform. When he was at Penn State, they always talked about Yetur Gross-Matos and the great things that were coming in his future. And it was like tomorrow. But what about today? Well, here we are, 2025, late 2025, almost 2026, and it's today for Yetur Gross-Matos. He's come of age as a pass rusher in the interior. And the 49ers, looking at what Farrell and Keon White have been able to give them, if they could get Sam Aquinu healthy and Yetur Gross-Matos back in there, who knows? Who knows what the 49ers might be able to accomplish on the defensive side of the ball. The young DBs are getting better and better and better. So we'll talk about that coming up next. I want to mention that as well. The safeties. I didn't get a chance to ask Shanahan about the safeties, but we'll talk about that in a second. But first, a word from our friends at Mint Mobile. Sponsored by our friends at Mint Mobile, the smarter way to save on wireless without giving up quality. So here's the deal. Mint has completely reimagined how wireless works. Everything's easy and online. No stores, no salespeople, no upsells. You sign up, activate right from your couch, and boom, premium wireless on the nation's largest 5G network. They've got unlimited talk and text, free calling to Mexico, Canada, and the UK, and even hotspots included. That's 10 gigs on their unlimited plan. And here's what really sets Mint apart: the bulk savings model. You can buy 3, 6, or 12 months at once and lock in an incredible rate. Plans start at 5 gigabyte, 15 gigabyte, 20 gigabyte, or go unlimited. Whatever fits your lifestyle best. I switched over myself, and it was crazy easy. I kept my phone, my number, all my contacts. It took minutes. That's right. And right now, for the holidays, you can save 50% off an unlimited premium wireless plan from Mint. Lock in Mint's lowest price of the year and pay $15 a month for 3, 6, or 12-month plans. That's right. $15 a month for premium wireless. Support the show and make the switch today at mintmobile.com. All right. Thanks to Mint Mobile for a word there on the Krug Show. And thanks to Mint Mobile for being an outstanding Krug Show sponsor. All right. A little bit more from Shanahan. So he says Bethune, Gross Matos, and Sam Aquinu are coming back. Now, then the presser kind of got a little bit more interesting. Shanahan was asked about this comment. Shelby Harris is ripping Jawan Jennings and saying he's crossing the line and this and that and what he said. And Shanahan was asked for his perspective, and he said, hey, look, it was an injury timeout. It had nothing to do with Malik Collins. And there was just words being spoken back and forth between guys lingering around during the timeout. And it didn't have anything to do with the injured player. And it had everything to do with just the fact that you got competitive guys standing around staring at each other in the middle of a supercharged competitive football game. And then he went on to say, hey, I mean, I love JJ. I love how he plays. I love the fact that he goes to the whistle. He's a great competitor. I mean, Jawan Jennings shows up for the W, man. He shows up for the win. He ain't happy if he loses. He's not one of those guys that's like thrilled when he has a big day and they lose. It rarely happens because if he has a big day, they generally win. He's that important to the team. So that was the first question to Shanahan about the whole Shelby Harris comment. Somebody should punch him in the jaw and all that stuff. The terrible things that Jawan Jennings said that I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to make reference to it. I mean, that right there is already sorority house stuff. Shelby, if it's so bad that, we're all adults, we can handle it. If it's so bad that you're going to call out another man, you may as well just say what he said so we can hear it. Otherwise, and judge for ourselves, or he can deny it or whatever. Instead, he makes this big to-do in the locker room, doesn't tell anybody what Jawan said, left us all guessing. Now, and then, of course, Shanahan's asked about it. Well, what do you think about what he said? And Shanahan's like, I don't know what he said. Based on what he said to me and what I've heard from the situation, I'm fine with it. It's boys being boys during a timeout, and JJ's a competitor and whatever. But then, of course, the next question has to be like, what if some of the comments really went above and beyond competitive commentary and blah, blah, blah? Well, yeah, so now you're asking Shanahan to comment on comments that we have no idea if they were made, or, I mean, just the level of ridiculousness and how PC and crazy our world is. And it's like, what if it comes out in the next 24 hours that JJ said something heinous and now Shanahan's on the hook for endorsing it? It's like, really? That's where we're going. We're in this gigantic gotcha world. Gotcha. Oh, wait a second. You're okay with what JJ said? Well, JJ said this. Are you okay with that? It's like, I don't. And then, of course, Shanahan then's got to pick his words very carefully. And he's like, well, there's always things that go above and beyond. And there's all, he's, of course, going to outline. It's not like he just believes blindly in anything JJ says. But from what his understanding of it was that JJ didn't cross any terrible line of indecency or poor taste, and it was just guys jawing at each other. Now, who knows? Maybe Harris comes back in the next 24 hours and says, he said this, and who knows where this goes. But I hate this stuff. I really do. And I really hate the, I mean, I don't want to say I hate our brethren, our co-media people, but I do kind of hate the, what's your point? So what? Now you want to know what my comments are or what my thoughts are about comments that you're not even going to tell me what they were. And now what? So now I'm going to tell you that I think it's okay, and then you're going to go see if you can dig up that the comments were somehow crossed some kind of societal line, and now Shanahan's the bad guy. You know what I mean? It's like to me, this is why if I were a coach, I would be rude to the media too. I mean, not that Kyle is. I think he's pretty accommodating. But to like some coaches, Belichick and others, who are just borderline hostile with the media. And I get it. Why? Because everybody's smiling in your face, and they're not your friend. They're not your friend. And they're not after your best interest. And yet they're smiling in your face. And I've seen it firsthand. Let me ask a super asshole question, but I'll do it with kind of like a look in my face like I care about you. Like I really care. You don't care about anything. You care about, pushing some headline and a few more clicks and a few more views. And I mean, it's like, for what? When you're going to, I just can't stand any of that stuff. I mean, I really can't. So, but no, what if what he said actually went beyond, crossed the line? Well, I guess if it crossed the line, then I'll have to determine then when I find out what line I cross. You know what I mean? It's just this. It's a gigantic gotcha. It's a gotcha on Jennings, and then it becomes a gotcha on Shanahan. And to what end? Like what? And almost like he should be able to say, well, and why are you asking? What do you want to know about? What's your real question? Instead of probing, I don't want to be probed. I mean, and it's like I don't want to deal in these. He told me this is what he said. They're trying to move beyond it, and you're trying to look like you're trying. It sounded like guys were trying to catch the Niner head coach in like a incriminating moment where he endorses Jennings' full message, and then it's going to come out that Jennings' full message was in poor taste or crossed some invisible line that somebody else has drawn, and now that's going to reflect poorly on Shanahan and the Niners. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's exhausting. It's pathetic. It's not the story. It's tabloid dog crap is what it really is. We're so obsessed by the tabloid dog crap. These guys hit the crap out of each other for 4 hours, but then all of a sudden somebody says something. Yes, that guy ran right at my head and smoked me and yanked my helmet off. But did you hear what he said? I mean, it's like, what? You just got hit by the equivalent of a bus, and now you're talking about what somebody yelled out one of the windows. It's like, let's worry about the bus crash and a little less on what was said. I mean, that would be my thought on it. And Shanahan dodged, of course, but he had to cover himself. Because of course, what if he said something terrible? What if he had said something? What if he said, what if he's ripping Mother Teresa? What if he's speaking ill of homeless people? What if he's putting down innocent children? I mean, what then? It's like, so Shanahan had to be like, well, of course there's lines and anybody. I mean, but from my understanding, it's like, but he hates that question. And to what end? Where's that question going? What do you want to get out of that? I just, that one really kind of like, really? Multiple questions on the Shelby Harris, Jawan Jennings Wordgate. Really? That's a good one. Couple other thoughts. He was asked about Eric Kendricks. Is Kendricks going to play soon? And Shanahan said he's got a chance to play soon. I mean, obviously that's why they signed him. And now with the concussion protocol of Nick Martin, I would imagine that probably opens the door for Kendricks to slide right in there coming out of the bye week against Tennessee. We will see. That's me speculating. That's not Shanahan's report, but Shanahan did say he has a chance to play soon. Then Shanahan was asked about Brant Boyer, and why Boyer seems to be, turning the special teams unit around. And, I thought Shanahan had a couple interesting thoughts here. He said he's a former player. He really studies the tape. He's very direct with the players. And he said, hey, he'll call guys out. Um, Simple as that. He will call guys out. Excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose. It's terrible. But he will call guys out. He also said he's very consistent. And that's really all guys want. Here's the bottom line. Let me give you the mentality of the NFL player. And this from having been in the NFL, been in the CFL, and seen players up close and talking to them, and just years of experience. Players aren't soft. They're not. And they don't want yes men. They don't want somebody to just blow smoke up their butt. They don't. What they want is they want truth, and they want you to make them better. If you can make them better, you can pretty much do and say whatever the hell you want. You can motivate them any way you want. That's, doesn't insult them. But you have to have you have to show the player. See, the player, like everybody else, everybody's about themselves. I'm about myself. You're about yourself. The players are about themselves. If a coach can make a player better, then that player is going to make more money. And then he can make more money for his family. That's what you want from a coach. I want a coach who's going to make me a better football player, who's going to make me better at what I do so I can make more money to provide for my family better than I am right now. I want somebody who's going to help me and help me grow my career and my talent and my game and my bank account, right? That's what I want. That's what players want. It's not that they're all, greedy money, but you only have so much time to make money in the NFL. So you got to make money. So, yeah, some coaches coach soft and they kill you with kindness. Most don't. Most coach hard and are rough. And that's what Shanahan described with Boyer. He's a former player. He's done it. He's walked the walk. He studies the tape. He finds out where the mistakes are, and then he holds guys accountable. He calls guys out. He's very consistent. He will call out the best guy in the room. He'll call out the worst guy in the room. And that's how he gets these guys to be better. And that's really that's the key. That is the mentality. It's not about, do these guys love you? Oh, yeah, everybody thinks I'm your best friend. That's not the best coach. And it's not just some guy who's screaming just for just for the love of scream. No. It's a coach can coach you super hard and even get kind of verbally accusatory and negative and over the top. And you think Chris Kasarik doesn't drop F-bombs in the D-line room? Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. And do you think he doesn't call guys out? Yes, he does. And do you think he's not direct? Yes, he is. But he's also one of the best doing it. And as long as you're fair and you're consistent, your heart's in the right place, and you hold every guy accountable, and you can make the players better, and so that they can make more money for themselves, there's a wide berth of possibilities coaching wise there. So that was interesting. He said, man, he calls guys out, and that's a big part of it, man. It's a big part of it because sometimes you got to call guys out. And then Kyle was asked about the bye week, and he's like, hey, man, staff, players, myself, just need to get away, recharge the batteries, do something else. If you like football and fishing, go fish. You like football and hunting, go hunt. You like football and making music, go make music. You like football and reading the Bible with your family, go read the Bible with your family. Do whatever you do when you're away from football that you don't have time for. Kyle's like, I need to spend more time with my dog. That's a great one. Yeah, the dog and the head coaches probably, ignore the dog. And that's not a good thing. You don't want to ignore the dog. So he's got to love up on the dog, and you got to, this is pretty much the reason I didn't want to be in coaching or scouting, is that I don't want to shoehorn my family into some random 4-day period. Yeah, hey, you know what? I can't go to your game, and I can't do this, and I can't be here, and I can't be there, and I'm, you never see me anywhere, and I'm never picking you up from school or practice. I'm rarely home. I'm traveling all the time. But man, we had a bye week. We had 4 amazing days. That doesn't, That doesn't make up for it. But it does also mean that when you do, these guys have worked 100-hour weeks for the whole season. These guys probably haven't had a day off in 8 weeks. The Niners been going full bore since training camp. I bet you these coaches haven't had a day off of any significance, probably more than one day off. They probably haven't had since like June, like after the OTAs. So it's a grind, man. And your family pays the price. And so, get away. Get out of the facility. Try not to come in. Try to get away. Try to do whatever it is that relaxes you and makes you comfortable. And then come back ready to roll. Because when the Niners get back, they're going to get the Titans, and then it's the Colts in Indy. It's the Bears at home. It's the Seahawks in Seattle. Or Seahawks at home, I should say. And then it's playoff time. And then it's winner move on and loser goes home. So there you go. That was the full breakdown of the Shanahan Monday presser. Let's hit a couple of the chats. I haven't even looked at the chat. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the chat today. Let's hit some of these. We got this one. Terradome's in the house. Hey, what's up, Terradome? Terradome says, I like our chances. Let's get it. Yeah, seriously. They got a shot, man. The Niners got a shot. Look at this guy. I get this one from Jason Perrine. Don't bring a practice squad, please. I don't want to hear a half-hour breakdown of practice squad players. Have I ever given you a half-hour breakdown of practice squad players? Probably not. The 49ers 2025. We're talking about 4 O-linemen that need to be replaced. Well, there's no question. The Niners need to upgrade their offensive line in the offseason. We got this one from the 10XU. 49ers need a left guard, a center, a tackle. I know Larry already has eyes on a few. Yes, I do. What else we got here? We got Chip Kelly question. Larry, what do you think of Chip Kelly possibly going to Kentucky? I know you're a big Chip Kelly fan. I just don't really think Chip Kelly is that special. I mean, I think he's a nice guy. I think he got by with Phil Knight recruiting, and people were like, "Oh yeah, he's super innovative." I don't know. I don't see a lot of innovation there. When you're calling kind of mediocre short plays, plays underneath, and just like all these little check down type plays and quick hitters, but you're just what's the innovation that you're maybe running those mediocre to subpar plays quickly? I don't see a great innovative person there. You want to talk about Bill Walsh is innovative, the late Bill Walsh, okay. You want to claim that Buddy Ryan was innovative with the 46 defense, all right. You want to say Dom Capers with the zone blitz was innovative, okay, I'm there. Mouse McFadden, Chris Alt in the pistol, and I mean, there are guys that are innovative. I just didn't see that from Chip. I really didn't. And the talk was out of Vegas was that Carroll was all over Chip, as far as he was just in Chip's grill about the offense, and it sounds like Carroll's going to get the axe at the end of the year. So, supposedly Tom Brady wanted Ben Johnson. Right now, Ben Johnson looks like the best coach in football. I mean, you're turning around the Chicago Bears. Oh my God. That's some pretty impressive stuff. They've won 9 of 10, 7 in a row or something like that. I mean, the Bears Niners is going to be a hell of a showdown, man. That is going to be a showdown. 49er Aaron Larry, when can we get Sammy back on? He's a great guest. Yeah, I've just been with the holidays and busy and all these different things. Sammy's got a new job. I definitely want to stream with Sammy on the regular, which we were doing Tuesdays, but then Tuesdays have been kind of a busy day for me. So we'll have to figure that out. But definitely, we will definitely get Sammy back on and figure out what day is the best day, because I love me some Sammy Batesh. Me and Sam go way, way, way back to the 90s. So good man, good radio guy, and terrific guy. anytime we're talking, if we get Niners Rams again, of course, we'll get him back on a lot. And since he's working down at ESPN LA. All right. Well, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to jump in. We're gonna. Oh wait, we got a super here. We got a couple supers here. Let me jump in on a couple of these supers I didn't get. Sorry, guys. About ready to walk out of the room. Silent says next big reclamation project for Saleh and Shanahan. Next big reclamation project. I'll tell you the guy that I wish the Niners had picked up was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I know people hate him, but he's a good football player. And now he's playing well with the Bears. And he's giving the Bears another good football player, which is, could be the difference between the Bears and the Niners, whoever advances there. Big reclamation project for Saleh and Shanahan. I'm trying to think. There's probably a veteran defensive lineman that the Niners could go after that for Saleh. As far as Shanahan goes, it's hard to say. Probably you're thinking quarterbacks, right? Mac Jones moves on. I mean, I've heard people say Zach Wilson. I've thrown out Anthony Richardson, Davis Mills, though I think he's under contract next year. But there's any number of guys, quarterback-wise, that potentially would want to come to play for Shanahan, especially watching what Darnold and Mac Jones have done. So Zach Wilson, to me, makes a lot of sense. Big Nosa says, we're making the Niners great again. There you go. Somehow, some way. Big Nosa, Redskins lost cause. They don't trust Moody. Well, they're no longer the Redskins, by the way, but they ruined my bet last night nonetheless. They covered and came back against the Broncos. Broncos, I thought were going to win it. Then I was given 6. And then the Broncos pushed it. We went to overtime. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. The overtime rules are not sudden death. They're, the first team, it's sudden death after both teams touch the ball. So I'm like, wait a second. What if Denver wins the toss? All right. Then they go down, they score a touchdown. Then they're up by 7. Now I'm covering. Sure enough, it happened. And then all they needed was a stop. And they couldn't get it. They couldn't get a stop. And then the Commanders score a touchdown. And then the Commanders, since they're got 3 wins on the year and aren't going anywhere, decided to go for 2 and didn't get it. Nick Bonito knocked it out of the air. Great player, Nick Bonito. He's terrific. Imagine if the Niners had taken Nick Bonito. They took Drake Jackson 2 picks before. Imagine if they'd taken Nick Bonito instead. I mean, for all the misses that, the 49ers have had, just think about if a few of those misses were major hits. This team would be a whole lot better. Imagine if they hadn't made the Trey Lance trade and they picked Nick Bonito over Drake Jackson. If they just those 2 moves alone would have added a lot of draft capital and a lot of talent to the 49ers. By the way, quick shout out to Cleve Farrell. Cleve Farrell, what a game. 9 tackles, 2 sacks. He had the key sack that took the Browns out of field goal range and created a 4th and 28. That was a huge play. So very impressed by Cleve Farrell, very impressed by Keon White, very impressed by the 49er defense. I mean, past 2 games, the Niner defense have given up 17 points total in the 2 games. They've had 4 sacks and forced 3 turnovers. I mean, that's the way you do it. That's how it's done. All right, that's going to do it for us. A little quick going live here after the Shanahan press conference. But we're not done for the day. Not by a long shot. Okay, so tonight at 6 o'clock, we will have Niners Nightly on KMBR. So join me at 6 o'clock on the Sports Leader for a little Niners Nightly. Fired up for Niners Nightly. Should be a lot of fun. 6 to 7, little breakdown. We'll take some of your phone calls at 808 KMBR. And who's going to be our guest tonight is Kyle Posey from Niners Nation, who's one of my favorite football guys, and we're going to have him join us at 6:30 on the Leader. So looking forward to that. And then so that goes from 6 to 7. Then I'll take some time off, a good hour or so, watch some of the Monday night game. When the Monday night game concludes, we're going live with me and Dieter on this Monday night. and Dieter and I do some fantastic streams. I really enjoy my streams with Dieter. Some people think I'm too negative, and then I bring on Dieter, and they're like, "Well, wait a second, no, you're not negative. Dieter's negative." I'm like, all right, I get it. We're both negative. But we also love to stream together. He does a really nice job. So we'll talk to him, what he thought of the 49ers going into their bye week and what he thinks of their Super Bowl chances going forward. I'll say this, I think the Niners have a real shot. I think they got a real shot. You got to remember this, all of these teams are going to have one more game where they can lose guys for the year. You're not rooting for injury, but that's just reality, and that's a major advantage for the 49ers. The bye week means they have one fewer game. They have a little bit less exposure to lose guys to injury. That's advantage 49ers. The other advantage 49ers is, Philly looks bad right now. Philly doesn't look like Philly. Philly just gave up a massive running total to the Bears. Tampa's really banged up. Stafford's coming off of a 2-interception game, and he's 38. And, this thing's not going to – 38-year-old quarterbacks sometimes tend to wilt in December and January. So, the NFC is wide freaking open, wide open. Bears are a really talented team, but they're young. The 49ers, the 49ers have been there, and they've been there, and it's like everybody's worst nightmare in football is that, we're going to get to the Super Bowl, we're going to lose it. The Niners have done that 2 times under Kyle Shanahan, and a lot of these players have been there for all of it. So, the Niners have some calluses built up from their failures, whether it be in Philly when Purdy got his elbow ripped out, in L.A. when Stafford and the Rams beat the Niners to go to the Super Bowl. Obviously both Super Bowl losses to Kansas City. You build up some calluses. Who knows? 49ers have a quarterback who's making smart decisions. They got a great coaching staff, special teams, head coach, defensive coordinator. They got some really, really great coaches. They've got 2 quarterbacks they can win with. They got Christian McCaffrey. You got a Hall of Fame left tackle. You got a Hall of Fame tight end. You got a defense that's coached up by a guy who's getting them better and better and better every week, despite not having Warner and Bosa. They got a shot, man. They got a real shot. They have experience that nobody else has. They're going to get into what if it's Niners Bears for all the marbles? Who are you going to believe in? You going to believe in Caleb Williams and the young Bears, or the Niners who have been there, done that, been to Super Bowls? I think that's a major advantage. I really do. I think experience matters in the playoffs. I think you're going to see it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. One last super here. Give us a 6-7, Kruger. A 6-7, Kruger? I'm not sure what he means by that. But I will definitely be there from 6 to 7 tonight on the Sports Leader. And then, as I said, roughly 8:30, Dieter and I will go live. We'll have a live stream and wrapping up everything that happened, and I'll do the full rewatch between now and then. So anyway, we got a lot to look forward to the rest of the day. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Oh, we should also thank our friends at Habbas Law. Habbas Law is a great sponsor of the Krug Show. Really, really great sponsor. And why do I say they're a great sponsor? They're a great sponsor because they're rooted in the community, and they're behind several really cool initiatives that I love talking about. And right now, this is the holiday season. Hunger is hitting the community hard. Families trying to hold it together. Veterans quietly struggling. You got teachers who care for our kids in the school as the school holidays begin. Thousands of children lose one meal that they can count on that they get at school. So let's join the Habbas Law team and fight against hunger this December with Loaves and Fishes. Loaves and Fishes is a lifeline serving hot, dignified meals, no judgment, no barriers. Thanks to Omar, Tarek, and the Habbas Law team. You can visit loavesfishes.org, LOAVESFISHES.org, loavesfishes.org. And anything that you can donate, we would really appreciate it. And thanks to Habbas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. We really appreciate them and how rooted in the community they are. I just think it's one of the coolest things. And once again, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Habbas Law, HABBAS law.com on the web. One more super here from Bicknose. All the players sneaking 6-7 into their answers and none of the media notice. Hilarious. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, hey, that's going to do it for us. See you at 6 on the radio. See you roughly 8:30 for another live stream on the Krug Show. Have a great night. Thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me.